Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good golly, Miss Molly. Welcome to that 70s Rock Fan channel with your host, that 70s Rock Fan. One of the things I like to do is make little videos about some of the thrift store and other bargain finds that I get, because everybody loves raking through the bins in charity stores, thrift stores, whatever. See what you can find, and it's great to buy physical media. That's something we should all be looking to do, is build up those physical media collections. Um, Today I got a group of vinyl albums at the local thrift store, including one extremely rare one, which I was stunned to see, and a couple of other things. I'll start with the other things before I look at the vinyl. I got this copy of it's actually a hard to get movie. I do have a digital copy of it, but it's hard to get physically. Is 1986, I think, 86, 85, hockey movie Youngblood, starring Rob Lowe, Patrick Swayze, and I think Keanu Reeves is in here too, if I recall from the last time I watched it. I may be wrong about that. I think he's in there. And it's interesting to see Rob Lowe, when you watch this movie, playing a hockey player, because it's not the kind of guy you would imagine. And admittedly, the plot is about him being skillful forward, but having to learn to toughen up. And Patrick Swayze's his tougher brother. So a neat little hockey movie, which is not that well known and is actually quite interesting when you watch it. So it was nice to get a copy of that in VHS for whatever it was, 99 cents. I don't know. Wasn't much. So it was kind of neat being a hockey fan getting that one. Also got a sealed DVD copy, not that it's a special edition, I think it's just a cheap, crappy copy of Spies Like Us. Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd, 1985, again, similar area to Youngblood, 85, 86 movie. John Landis directed, not the worst comedy in the world. Not the best, but neither is it the worst. And I actually have the 12-inch single of the Paul McCartney theme tune of this Spies Like Us. So it's one that's in my vinyl collection. So, again, for a couple of bucks sealed, I'd watch that. On DVD, without a problem. But let's move to the vinyl. First of all, I'm going to start with, sorry about the glare here, but start with the this one, which is British trio from late 60s, early 70s, Ashton-Gardner and Dyke, Tony Ashton being the keyboard player and singer, I think. Also worked a lot with John Lord and Ian Pace. This is actually a Canadian album, because the British version of the album was called The Worst of Ashton-Gardner and Dyke, which is a joke, of course. 1971 blues rock album. And this was rebranded in Canada to include a track that wasn't on the British album called Resurrection Shuffle, and they named the album Resurrection Shuffle because Resurrection Shuffle was a top 40 hit in the US, Canada, and the UK. So a bit of a rebranding by Capitol to try and get some interest in the album. John Lord does contribute to this, certainly from a production perspective. I'm not sure he's playing on it. He might be. George Harrison is involved with this album, both playing guitar and producing. They've even written a track for him, Sweet Patty O'Hara Smith. And there's a few other well-known guitar players, because the band it was a trio, keyboard trio, they didn't have a guitar player. So there's various guitar shenanigans on there by guests. Interesting album. Resurrection Shuffle was a big hit. People will probably recognize that track if they hear it. Also picked up this 1980 average white band album, Shine. The main shine we're getting, of course, is from the lights above. Apologies about that. It's there we go. I could go switch them off, but so this featured the hit Scottish funk soul band, Average White Band, famous for being a funk soul band from Scotland. First white band to appear on Soul Train, recorded or played Marvin Gaye, sang with them live once. Extremely well regarded for their output. This was a 1980 album and featured the hit Let's Go Round Again, produced by David Foster. So nice to pick up a little copy of that on vinyl. Sticking with the Scots, another album I got was a Frankie Miller, Scottish troubadour, singer, songwriter. He still with us, but sadly depleted over the last many years because of a bad stroke he had. Great singer, songwriter. This is from the album Double Trouble, which is 1978, I think. Features contributions from people like Andy Fraser and Paul Carrick. Produced and arranged by, I think, Jack Douglas. I might be right in saying. Stubborn Kind of Fellow, great track. Great rough voice. If you've never heard Frankie Miller, he's got that gritty, soulful voice. Produced by Jack Douglas. Yeah, 1978 album. Very well regarded by many artists. Great singer-songwriter. So listen out for Frankie Miller if you get the chance. Double Trouble, great title. Now, a couple of albums which I had on cassette at the time, and I've got on vinyl by one of my favourite artists of all time. Another guy sadly depleted by health due to strokes, can't tour anymore, is Chris Rea. This is his debut album from 1978, Whatever Happened to Benny Santini, which was a joke based on the fact the record label Magnet wanted him to change his name to Benny Santini because they thought that would make, more of a hit then. Here he is in his Tom Baker Doctor Who phase with a big scarf. Fairly mellower sound. I mean, he's well known in latter subsequent years and for great blues guitar playing and in great rock blues guitar, but also always had a ballad side to him too, and a very softer instrumental side with different guitar styles. They really pushed the sort of singer-songwriter side of him in these early days. And of course, this had the big hit "Fool If You Think It's Over" on it. Produced by Gus Dudgeon, Elton John's producer. So that was his first album, 78. 1979, his second album was, I always remember this because I wasn't particularly a huge train spotter, but I did know people who were. Second album was called Deltex, which is an engine, a diesel engine that used widely in Britain in that era. Deltex, and this album was called Deltex as a tribute to that. I'm not sure how big a train spotter he is. I think it was more the industrial aspect coming from the northeast of England and industrial Middlesbrough industrial town. This had a hit track on it, Diamonds, and also the title track Deltex, and again produced by Gus Dudgeon. Wonderful albums, great artist. Did a great video live stream about him once. With my great friend Christian Delorme. Sadly depleted, as we say, but some of my favourite albums of all time are Chris Rea albums. Auberge being my all-time favourite. Check Chris out, wonderful artist, great guitar player. Now, there's a Gus Dudgeon link to the next album. Let me just change the perspective on this a little, see if that reduces the glare a bit. So, Gus Dudgeon produced this 1969 album called Bakerloo by the band Bakerloo. I was incredibly excited to see this in the bins in the thrift store because this is an extremely rare album. I've never seen it on vinyl in my life. On the Harvest label, EMI Harvest label, Bakerloo power trio, blues hard rock power trio from 1969, featuring Clem Clemson on guitar, who went on to be in Humble Pie, Colosseum, did a lot of movie scores, still, and many other bands still around, still making fabulous guitar-based albums. Terry Poole on bass, and Keith Baker, who also went to do, both of them went on to do many other things. The short-lived power trio, this was the only album they made, Bakerloo. They supported Led Zeppelin on their first ever gig, toured with bands like Black Sabbath, known as Earth at the time, and very brief but big on the London scene of the late 60s, early 70s. I love this cover. I mean, it's just fabulous. Obviously, some kind of, I'm not sure it's to do with the Battle of Waterloo. It doesn't look like that to me. It looks like or a nautical scene, but you know what? It's a very interesting cover. I'm going to have a look into that cover art later. But Bakerloo, this album, and it's in fabulous condition. 1969 power trio, Bakerloo. I think this album's worth a few $100. I mean, I didn't buy it because of that. I bought it because it's to go in the collection, but it's extremely rare. I was very excited to get it. So yeah, great find, Bakerloo. Okay, well, that was today's finds. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. Hope you spotted a couple of things, interesting things there. There'll be more from my scouring of the thrift stores later, I'm sure, building up that physical media collection again. Getting many of these albums that I only ever had on cassette before, way back when they were released. I had a lot of cassettes. Still had a lot of vinyl too, but cassettes were sometimes easier to cheaper to buy or procure. So it's great to finally get some of these on vinyl after all these years. Anyway, hope you all have a great day. Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like and a thumbs up if you and if you did enjoy it. And if you didn't, well, thank you for watching anyway. I appreciate it very much. I will be back soon with more videos, I'm sure. So till then, keep on rocking.